Happy birthday to me, I whispered into the empty kitchen. My voice sounded hollow, like the fridge hum was mocking me. No balloons, no cake. Just the smell of burnt toast because my father forgot to clean the toaster again. The door creaked, and Mom walked in, scrolling through her phone. "Oh, you're up early." "Yeah," I said. I waited, hoping she'd notice the date circled on the calendar behind me. She poured herself coffee. "Daniel needs a ride later. Don't let him be late for class again." That was it. No smile. No happy birthday. Just an order. I gripped my mug tighter. "Anything else?" She glanced up, frowning. "Why? You look upset." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Never mind." Dad stumbled in next, yawning. "What's for breakfast?" "Toast," I muttered. He sat, already flipping through the bills. "We'll need you to send the payment for electricity again. I'll transfer it back later." "You said that last month," I said quietly. He didn't even look up. "I'll get to it." Daniel appeared last, headphones around his neck, hair messy but somehow styled. He grabbed 2 slices of toast like he owned the place. "Hey, Dad, can you send me some money? I need new headphones." "These are trash," Dad chuckled. "Ask your sister. She's got savings." Daniel's smirk widened as his eyes landed on me. "Yeah, come on, sis. You're the responsible one." My chest ached. "They can't even remember. But they know I'll pay for everything. I'm not buying you headphones," I said. Daniel rolled his eyes. "Geez, you're stingy." Mom's phone dinged. "Daniel, don't forget your birthday's coming up. We should plan something big this year. Maybe rent a hall, invite your friends. What do you think?" Daniel grinned. "Finally. About time." I stared at her. "A hall for him?" Mom blinked at me. "What?" "Nothing," I whispered. My nails dug into my palm. Dad tapped his pen. "You'll help cover some of it, right? You know we're tight right now." The room spun for a second. They forgot me again. I pushed back my chair. "I've got to get to class," Daniel snorted. "Don't forget to give me a ride." I didn't answer. My feet carried me out the door before the tears fell. The bus ride to campus was loud, but all I heard was silence in my head. My phone buzzed. "Lena. Happy birthday, my star." Don't tell me they forgot again. My eyes burned. I typed back, "No, it's fine. Just heading to class." Seconds later, she called. I answered with a shaky voice. "Hey, don't lie to me," she said sharply. "What happened this morning?" "They just forgot. Again." My voice cracked. Lena sighed. "I swear, if I lived closer, I'd drag a cake into your house and smash it on their table." Despite myself, I laughed weakly. "You'd really do that?" "Of course. You deserve fireworks, not silence." I bit my lip. "Maybe I don't deserve anything. Maybe it's just not a big deal." "Stop that," she snapped. "You're 23 today. You're allowed to want love. You're allowed to be remembered." Her words broke something in me. I whispered, "Then why don't they?" "I don't know," she said softly. "But I remember. Always." I pressed the phone against my ear, letting her voice fill the hollow places inside me. Later, after classes, I returned home. The house smelled like roasted chicken. Daniel was laughing in the living room, video game controller in hand. "Don't hog the Wi-Fi," he shouted when I walked in. I dropped my bag. "I paid the bill this month." "You're welcome." He didn't even look up. Yeah. Mom emerged from the kitchen. "Dinner's almost ready. Can you help set the table?" I stared at her. "Sure." Forks and knives clinked against plates as I set them down. This could be the moment. Maybe they'll remember now. Maybe they've been waiting for dinner to surprise me. We all sat. Dad carved the chicken. "To Daniel," he said suddenly, raising his glass. "Almost 20. We're so proud of you, son." They all clinked glasses. My fork froze midair. Daniel grinned. "Thanks. Can't wait for my party." "It's gonna be huge." Silence thudded in my ears. My birthday, today already erased, replaced by his. I set my fork down. "I'm not hungry," Mom frowned. "What now?" "Nothing." My voice shook. I stood my chair screeching. "I'll eat later." I hurried upstairs, shut my door, and slid down against it. My chest heaved, my phone buzzed again. Another message from Lena. "Still up for late-night ice cream?" My treat. "We'll make our own party." I typed back through blurry tears. "Yes, please." I whispered into the dark. "Happy birthday to me." The candle never burned, but maybe it didn't need to. I placed the small cake on the counter. Chocolate with a single candle. I told myself it was silly, but I wanted it anyway. Maybe they'd walk in, see it, and realize the clock ticked. I listened for footsteps, for whispers of surprise. Instead, voices floated from the living room. Mom laughed. A hall would be perfect. Daniel's friends will love it. Dad replied, we can manage the cost if we split it. Decorations, catering, maybe a DJ. My stomach turned. Daniel's voice chimed in. I want blue lights. And a tower of gifts. Oh, and make sure there's a proper cake this year. Triple layer, not cheap stuff. Mom's voice softened, dripping with pride. Of course, sweetheart. You deserve the best. I gripped the edge of the counter. Not me, him, always him. The kitchen door swung open. Daniel strutted in, phone in hand. What's that? He pointed at my cake. Nothing, I muttered, covering it with a napkin. He smirked. Looks small. Is it for Lena? You two still doing your weird late-night rituals? It's for me, I snapped before I could stop myself. His eyes widened, then narrowed. Oh, right. Your birthday. Almost forgot. Almost? My voice cracked. He shrugged. Well, it's not like a big deal. You're too old for cake. Besides, mine's coming up. Finally something worth celebrating. My chest burned. You could at least pretend to care. He rolled his eyes. Don't be dramatic. I'm busy. He left, and the door swung shut behind him like a slap. That night, my phone buzzed. Lena's name lit up the screen. I answered quickly. Hey, happy birthday, idiot, she yelled. I hope you're eating cake right now. I stared at the untouched slice. Yeah, of course. Good, what kind? Chocolate, she gasped. Your favorite. Did they finally remember? My throat closed. Yeah, I lied. They remembered. Silence hummed between us. Then she said softly, You're lying. I froze. What makes you say that? Because I know your voice. It's the same voice you used last year when you told me they surprised you with nothing. Did they forget again? Tears pricked my eyes. It doesn't matter. It matters to me, she said firmly. Tell me, I bit my lip. They're planning a party. For Daniel. A huge one. Her gasp crackled through the phone. Are you kidding me? On your birthday? It's for next week, I whispered. That's even worse. They can't throw his party while ignoring you. God, I want to scream. I laughed bitterly. Join the club, she sighed. I don't understand how they can look at you and not see what they're doing. Maybe I'm invisible to them, I said softly. A walking wallet. A background character in Daniel's spotlight. Don't say that. Her voice trembled. You're not invisible. Stop, I cut her off. I don't want to cry again. Then let me be angry for you, she said. Because you deserve so much more than this. I wiped my cheeks. Lena, thank you. Always, she whispered. You're my family. The next day at breakfast, I tried to test them. Did you see the cake in the kitchen? I asked lightly. Dad barely looked up from his papers. What cake? The little one, I said. Oh, thought Daniel bought it for himself. Daniel laughed. As if I'd buy something that small. I swallowed hard. It was mine. The table fell quiet for a second. Mom finally said, oh, right, happy. Birthday. Her voice was flat, forced. Daniel snickered. Wow, that sounded heartfelt. I pushed back my chair. Forget it. As I stood, Daniel added, don't be so sensitive. You know the real party's coming up. I turned sharply. Yours. Exactly, he said with a grin. That evening, Lena dragged me out for coffee. Tell me what happened today, she demanded. I stirred my cup. They noticed, eventually, only because I forced them to. She slammed her hand on the table. Unbelievable. You're their daughter. They should be celebrating you, not brushing you aside like I don't exist. I finished. She looked at me with eyes full of fire. You do exist. And I see you. Every part of you, I whispered. Then why does it hurt so much? Because you still hope they'll change, she said softly. Her words sank into me like glass. Hope. That fragile, cruel thing I couldn't kill. Back home, I lit the candle on my cake alone. The tiny flame flickered, weak but alive. I whispered to it, please, just let me stop hoping. From the living room, Daniel's laugh rang out as he bragged about his upcoming party. Mom's voice floated in, planning balloons and ribbons. Dad promised to cover half the cost, then turned to me, asking if I'd handle the rest. My breath caught. Rage spread like wildfire. They want my money. They want me invisible. But they'll never give me the love I keep begging for. The flame trembled. I blew it out. Darkness swallowed the room, and for the first time, I didn't make a wish. Another double shift? Lena asked as we walked out of class together. Yeah, I sighed. Rent's due. Bills are piling up, she frowned. You shouldn't have to carry that alone. They're your parents. They don't see it that way, I muttered. To them, I'm the steady one. The backup plan. Her eyes softened. That's not fair. Fair doesn't pay the electricity, I said. I'll see you later. At work, I clocked in, tied my apron, and forced a smile. Ethan was wiping down a counter. You're here again, he said quietly. Yeah, guess I live here now. He raised an eyebrow. You okay? I hesitated. Fine, just tired. He nodded once and didn't press further. That was Ethan. He noticed, but never demanded. By the time I got home, the kitchen lights flickered. Another unpaid bill. Dad sat at the table with unopened envelopes stacked like bricks. Did you pay the internet yet? He asked. I dropped my bag. Yes, last week. Good, he muttered, not even looking at me. Mom breezed in, carrying shopping bags. You won't believe the sale I found. 2-for-1 dresses? I saved money. By spending it? I asked flatly. She waved her hand. Don't start. I deserve nice things. Daniel barged in, grinning, a new shoebox under his arm. Check these out. He lifted sleek sneakers from the box. Limited edition. Everyone's jealous, I froze. Where'd you get the money? He shrugged. Your card. My stomach dropped. My card? Relax, he said. I thought it was Dad's. Same bank, right? Honest mistake. I clenched my fists. That's not a mistake. That's theft. Dad looked up finally. Don't be dramatic. He's your brother, Mom added. He didn't mean harm. It's just shoes. Shoes that cost half my paycheck, I snapped. I'm saving for graduate school. Every dollar counts. Daniel rolled his eyes. You act like you're poor. You always have money. Because I work myself sick. My voice cracked. Because I cover bills no one else will. The room went silent. Dad cleared his throat. We appreciate it. But Daniel's young. He deserves a little fun, I laughed bitterly. And what do I deserve? No one answered. Later that night, I shut myself in my room. The sneakers still gleamed in my mind, bright and smug. My chest ached, my throat burned, but the tears came anyway. I whispered to the dark, why am I the only one paying? Why am I the only one who remembers what sacrifice feels like? My phone buzzed. A message from Lena. Want to rant? I'm awake, I typed back. Not tonight. Too tired, but I didn't sleep. The next day, Ethan cornered me at the coffee machine. You look wrecked, he said. Thanks, I muttered. He poured his drink. You gonna tell me why? I shook my head. It's complicated. He studied me for a moment. Family? I froze. Yeah. He nodded like he'd expected that answer. They draining you? The words hit too close. Something like that? He sipped his coffee. You don't have to explain, just don't let them hollow you out. His calm tone startled me. Easier said than done. Yeah, he said quietly. I know. When I got home that evening, Daniel was sprawled on the couch, scrolling his phone. Where's the receipt for those shoes? I asked. He smirked. Why? Going to return them? Yes, he laughed. Good luck. No refunds. Besides, they're mine now, I glared at him. Paid with my money. Money's just numbers, he said lazily. You'll make more. Mom called from the kitchen. Stop fighting. It's just money, I shouted back. It's my future. Dad snapped, lower your voice. We don't need drama, I turned on him. Drama? You're buried in bills, and I'm the one keeping us afloat. Do you even see me? His face hardened. Watch your tone, Daniel snorted. Seriously, you act like you're the parent. I am the parent, I shot back. I pay the bills. I keep the lights on. What do you do? His smirk faltered for a moment, then returned sharper. I live my life. You should try it sometime. Rage surged hot in my chest. I grabbed my bag and stormed out before the words turned into something worse. I ended up at the park near work, the night air heavy against my skin. My phone buzzed again. Lena, where are you? She asked. Out. Out where? The park. I'm coming. No, stay home. Too late, she said. I'm already walking, I sighed. You're impossible. Correct, she said. Now tell me why you sound like you're breaking. I hesitated, then spilled it. Daniel stole from me. My card, expensive shoes. My parents defended him. Her gasp cut through the line. Are you serious? They defended him? Like it was nothing. They're using you. All of them. Can't you see? I see it, I whispered. I just don't know how to stop it. You stop by saying no. My chest tightened. I don't know if I can. You can, she said fiercely. You have to. The next day, Ethan caught me again. You look worse, he said simply. Thanks, I muttered. He studied me. Want advice? Not really. I'll give it anyway, he said. Don't let them bleed you dry. People will take until you're empty. You decide when to close the tap. I stared at him. That simple? He shrugged. Simple. Not easy. I managed a small smile. You always this blunt? Only when it matters, he said, and for the first time in days, I felt seen. That night, I sat at my desk, staring at my dwindling bank balance. Every number carried memories. Hours worked, sleep lost, sacrifices made. I whispered, money has memories too, and I'm tired of mine being stolen. Music blasted through the walls before I even stepped downstairs. Laughter, clinking glasses, the thud of bass. My house looked like it belonged to strangers. At the bottom step, I froze. Lights strung across the ceiling, trays of food on every table, neighbors crowding the hall. Daniel spotted me instantly. What are you doing here? He hissed, weaving through his friends. I live here, I said flatly. Yeah, but this isn't your party. Try not to ruin it, I clenched my fists. My money helped pay for this, he smirked. Then consider it charity. I stood near the wall, invisible, listening to chatter about how amazing the decorations looked. A friend of Daniel's raised his drink. Happy birthday, man! It's next week, Daniel laughed. But who cares? Celebrate early, right? The group roared in approval. I whispered to myself, of course. Celebrate him early, forget me completely. Hours passed like molasses. My stomach growled as waiters refilled plates. Finally, I walked to the cake table. 3 tiers, covered in glittering blue icing. I reached for a slice. Daniel appeared, shoving my hand away. Don't touch that. My chest burned. I just want a piece. He laughed loudly. God, you're so dramatic. It's my cake, not yours. His friends cackled. She's jealous, one of them sneered. Heat rushed to my face. I paid for half of this. Daniel smirked wider. Then you paid to watch me eat it first. He cut himself a huge slice and turned his back. The laughter followed him like a spotlight. I stumbled outside into the cold night, hugging myself against the sting of humiliation. The crunch of footsteps startled me. You okay? I turned. Ethan stood near the gate, hands in his jacket pockets. What are you doing here? I asked, wiping my face quickly. Delivery job, he said simply. Didn't know this was your place. His eyes flicked toward the glowing windows. Looks expensive, I laughed bitterly. It's expensive because I helped pay for it. He studied me quietly. And yet you're out here, alone. I swallowed hard. They don't want me in there. Family? He asked softly. Yeah, my brother's party. My parents' pride and joy. I'm just the invisible wallet, he nodded slowly. I've seen that before. Silence settled between us until I whispered. They laughed at me. In front of everyone, his jaw tightened. That's cruel, I shrugged. I should be used to it, he shook his head. No one gets used to being treated like nothing. The front door burst open and Daniel's voice carried out. There you are. Hiding again? Figures, I stiffened. I needed air, he sneered. You're embarrassing. Standing around like a ghost. Can't you let me have one night without your sad face? My voice cracked. You pushed me in front of everyone, Daniel scoffed. You're too sensitive. It was a joke. A joke at my expense, I whispered. Lighten up, he said, already turning back inside. This is my moment, not yours. The door slammed, my legs buckled, and I sank onto the curb. Ethan crouched beside me. You don't have to take that, he said quietly. I don't know how to stop it, I admitted. Say no, he said simply. They won't listen. Then walk away, he murmured. The words stung because they felt true. Cars lined the street. Music throbbed behind us. Ethan stood brushing dust from his jeans. Want a ride home? I blinked at him. This is my home. He paused, then said gently, You know what I mean. I hesitated. I don't want to be a burden. You're not, he said firmly. I exhaled shakily. Fine, yes, please. Inside his car, the noise dulled. For the first time all night, silence felt safe. Thank you, I whispered. He kept his eyes on the road. Don't thank me for basic kindness. Tears slipped down my cheeks. I don't know why I keep hoping they'll change. Because they're your family, he said softly. But hope can be poison when it's wasted. My throat tightened. So what do I do? He glanced at me briefly. Decide if you want to keep being their wallet, or start being your own person. The words settled heavy in my chest. When he dropped me off at Lena's cafe, she was waiting outside, arms crossed. You didn't answer my texts, she scolded. Sorry, I muttered. Her eyes flicked to Ethan. You know him? Coworker, I said quickly. Ethan nodded to her. She's safe now. Lena studied him, then me. Good. Because if I'd walked into that house and seen them treat you like that, I'd burn it down. I laughed weakly. You can't burn everything. She touched my arm. No, but you can walk away. Later that night, lying in Lena's spare bed, I stared at the ceiling. The music from my house still echoed faintly in my ears, mixed with Daniel's laughter. I whispered, What if I stopped letting them use me? For the first time, the thought didn't scare me. It felt like freedom. The cursor blinked on the screen as I typed the last new password. Bank account, email, credit card. Every door they used to walk through, locked. My hands shook, but I whispered, Not anymore. At work the next day, Ethan caught me by the lockers. You look lighter, he said. Do I? Yeah, what did you do? I hesitated. I moved my money. New account. New passwords. They can't touch it now, his eyebrows lifted. Finally, I frowned. Finally? You've been bleeding for them, he said simply. They won't change until you stop feeding them. The words lodged in my chest like a stone. When I got home that evening, Mom's voice rang out before I even closed the door. Where's the money? She demanded from the kitchen. I froze. What money? The transfer, she snapped. Your father tried to pay the gas bill and the account was empty. Dad stormed in with Daniel trailing behind. What the hell did you do? I steadied my voice. I moved my savings, Daniel barked a laugh. Moved it? To where? A new account, I said firmly. One only I can access. Mom's face twisted. How selfish can you be? Selfish? I shot back. I've been paying your bills for years. Dad slammed his fist on the table. We needed that money. You've put us in danger. You put yourselves in danger, I said. I'm done cleaning up after you, Daniel sneered. So what, you're going to watch us starve? You won't starve, I snapped. You'll finally learn to live within limits. Mom's eyes welled with tears. After everything we've given you, this is how you repay us? Given me? I laughed bitterly. What exactly have you given me? A roof, she said, trembling. One I pay for, I shot back. Dad's voice boomed. Enough, you're acting ungrateful. This family needs you, I shook my head. No, this family needs my money. Not me. The shouting escalated until the phone rang. Mom snatched it up. Marissa? Good, you called. Maybe you can talk some sense into her. A pause. Then Mom shoved the phone into my hand. Your aunt wants a word. I hesitated. Hello? Marissa's voice was calm, low. I heard what's happening. Is it true? You locked your accounts? Yes, a sigh. Good. About time. My throat tightened. You're not mad? Mad? I warned your mother years ago this would happen. They see you as a resource, not a daughter. You're right to protect yourself. Tears burned my eyes. Then why does it feel so wrong? Because you still love them, she said gently. But love doesn't mean letting yourself be drained. I bit my lip. They're furious. They'll stay furious until they adjust, Marissa said. Don't break. Her words steadied me like a hand on my shoulder. When I hung up, Mom's eyes narrowed. What did she say? That you're wrong, I said softly. That I'm allowed to protect myself, Mom gasped. She took your side? Dad growled. That woman always hated us. Daniel rolled his eyes. Whatever. This is pathetic. She'll cave in a week, I lifted my chin. I won't, he smirked. We'll see. Later that night, Lena called. How's it going? She asked cautiously. Like a war zone, I admitted. She whistled. And you didn't cave? No, not this time. Good, she said fiercely. This is the first battle you've actually fought for yourself. My chest loosened. Why does it feel like I'm betraying them? Because they trained you to believe that, she said. But you're not betraying them. You're saving yourself. The next morning, Dad cornered me at the door. Do you understand what you've done? He growled. Yes, I said evenly. You've ruined us. No, I said. I've just stopped letting you ruin me. He shook his head. You'll regret this. I walked past him without replying. At work, Ethan noticed the redness around my eyes. They fought you, didn't they? I nodded. All night. And? I didn't back down. For the first time, he smiled faintly. Good, that's strength. I stared at him. It doesn't feel like strength. It feels like cutting my own heart out. Strength always feels like loss at first, he said quietly. But one day you'll look back and see it saved you. His words sank deep. That evening, Mom tried a new tactic. She knocked on my door softly. Honey, can we talk? I opened it a crack. What is it? Her eyes were wet. I'm sorry we yelled. We don't know what to do without your help. My throat tightened. You could try being parents, she flinched. That's not fair. No, I said firmly. What's not fair is expecting your daughter to sacrifice her future so you can keep living like nothing's wrong. Her tears slipped down. Please, just until things get better. I shook my head. Things won't get better if you don't change. And I won't keep paying for that, she sobbed softly. You'll regret this one day. I closed the door. No, you will. For the first time in years, I slept without checking my bank balance before bed. And for the first time, I felt like my money and my life belonged to me. The house was too quiet. No yelling now, just ice. Mom walked past me without a word. Dad buried himself in bills. Daniel slammed doors, muttering loud enough for me to hear. At breakfast, he shoved the cereal box across the table. Hope you're happy. You ruined everything, I poured my coffee. I ruined your free ride, his jaw tightened. I can't go out with my friends anymore. I can't buy anything. You took everything from me. You mean I stopped paying for you, I said. He stood abruptly. You're pathetic. I didn't flinch. Then stop needing me. He stormed out and the silence swallowed me whole. Later, I met Lena at the cafe. She slid a muffin across the table. You look exhausted. Home feels like a graveyard, I muttered. Silent treatment? She asked. Every second. She leaned forward. Good, let them stew. You're not their bank anymore. I bit my lip. But what if I went too far? She frowned. Too far? You're finally drawing a line. That's not too far. It's survival. I looked down. I still feel guilty. Of course you do, she said. They raised you on guilt. But guilt isn't truth, I swallowed. Then what's truth? That you deserve better, she said firmly. At work, Ethan noticed me staring blankly at the register. You're somewhere else, he said. Home, I muttered. The silence is suffocating, he nodded slowly. That silence is punishment. I looked at him. How do you know? He hesitated, then spoke quietly. Because my parents did it to me. Every time I said no, my chest tightened. What did you do? I left, he said simply. You just walked away? I had to. They would have drained me dry. Do you regret it? I asked, his eyes darkened. I regret hoping they'd ever change. That hope almost killed me, I whispered. I don't know if I'm strong enough to leave. You don't have to yet, he said gently. But you have to choose who you want to become, someone who stays their victim, or someone who walks free. That night, Daniel cornered me in the hallway. You know they cry when you're not around, right? He hissed. I froze. Do they? Yes. You've destroyed this family. Congratulations. My throat ached. Or maybe I stopped being destroyed by this family. He sneered. Keep telling yourself that. One day you'll regret it. I met his glare. Maybe, but not today. The next weekend, Lena and I sat in the park. She handed me an application form. What's this? I asked. Graduate school. Abroad. You said once you wanted to apply. Do it now. I stared at the form. Abroad? Yes, she said. A fresh start. Away from them, I shook my head. It feels selfish, her eyes flashed. It's not selfish to want a future. You've given up years for them. Don't give up the rest of your life, I whispered, but leaving means abandoning them. Abandoning? She snapped. They abandoned you first. Every birthday. Every bill. Every laugh at your expense. Stop twisting it, I hugged the form to my chest. What if I fail? Then fail forward, she said. But at least you'll be living your life, not theirs. Back at work, Ethan found me staring at the form during break. Thinking about it? He asked. Yes, he sat across from me. Do it. I'm scared, I admitted. He leaned back. Fear is better than regret. I looked at him. You really believe I can start over? Yes, he said firmly. Because you already started. The moment you locked those passwords, you chose yourself. I blinked back tears. Why do you care so much? He hesitated. Because I know what it's like to feel invisible. And I don't want you to forget you're not. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the application. My parents' silence pressed against the walls. My brother's bitterness lingered in the air. I whispered, should I forgive them? Or let them drown? The question gnawed at me, no answer in sight. The lights went out mid-dinner. Forks froze halfway to mouths, Dad cursed. Damn electricity company. They cut us again. I stayed quiet, sipping water. Mom turned on him. Didn't you pay the bill? I tried, Dad snapped. The account was empty. Her eyes flicked toward me. She moved the money. I put down my glass. Yes, I did, Daniel groaned. Unbelievable. You're ruining this family. No, I said evenly. I stopped ruining myself. The next morning, a man in a suit banged at the door. Collections, he barked. Your father owes 3 months, Dad argued in the doorway, voice rising. I'll pay soon, just give me time. The man shook his head. We've heard that before. I walked past them silently, heading to work. That evening, Mom cornered me in the kitchen. Look what you've done, she hissed. We're drowning. I had to sell my gold bangles today. I opened the fridge. You still have food? You're not starving. She slammed the door shut. Don't you dare talk down to me. Those bangles were my pride. Then maybe stop depending on me, I said coldly. Her face twisted. Heartless girl, maybe, I whispered. But free. Later, Daniel burst into my room, slamming the door. You know I had to quit my boxing class because of you? I looked up from my homework. Because of me? Yes, he shouted. Do you know how humiliating that is? Everyone else gets to keep training and I'm stuck at home. I closed my notebook calmly. Maybe you should get a job. His jaw dropped. A job? You're insane. I shrugged. Welcome to reality. You're selfish, he spat. I hate you. The word stung, but I didn't let it show. Then stop needing me. At the cafe, Lena leaned across the table, eyes sparkling. So the power cut out? Twice? Yes. I stirred my drink. They're crumbling, she smirked. This is karma. Sweet, satisfying karma. I shook my head. It feels cruel. No, she said sharply. Cruel is forgetting your birthday every year. Cruel is mocking you at that party. This is balance, I sighed. Maybe, she softened. Don't feel guilty. They're learning what life looks like without your sacrifice. That's not punishment, it's justice. At work, Ethan asked quietly, how's the house? Cracks everywhere, I admitted. No electricity. Debt collectors. Daniel dropped his class. He nodded. Expected? Expected? I asked. Yeah, they built their lives on your back. Pull it away, it collapses. I stared at him. So this is my fault? No, he said firmly. This is survival. You're not responsible for the cracks, they are. You just stopped being the glue. His words sank deep, steady, and heavy. That night, Dad sat at the table, head in hands. Bills scattered around him. Do you feel proud? He muttered when I passed. Of what? I asked. Watching your family suffer? I stopped. I don't feel proud. I feel relieved, he glared. Relieved? You're a disgrace. I met his eyes. Maybe, but at least I'm free. Mom tried tears the next day. We can't go on like this, she sobbed. The neighbors are whispering. Do you want us humiliated? I folded laundry. Maybe stop pretending we're perfect. Her voice broke. We're family. Families don't abandon each other. I looked at her. You abandoned me first. She gasped like I'd slapped her. The following weekend, Lena dropped by with Ethan. Your house feels like a storm cloud, she whispered after Mom slammed a door. It is, I said. Ethan studied me. But you look calmer, I shrugged. Maybe because for once the storm isn't mine to hold back. Lena grinned. That's the power shift. You feel it, don't you? I nodded slowly. Yes, for the first time, I feel stronger than them. That night, I lay awake in the dark, listening to the faint hum of a borrowed generator outside. My family's world was cracking, and for the first time, I didn't rush to fix it. Mom's voice cracked through the hallway. We need to talk, I sighed. About what? She wrung her hands. About fixing this. Please sit. Dad was already at the table, eyes tired but sharp. Daniel leaned against the counter, arms crossed, glaring. I sat slowly. Go on. Mom's lips trembled. We can't go on like this. Bills are drowning us. We're sorry. We'll change, I promise. Just help us one more time, I swallowed. Change how? Dad leaned forward. We'll budget. We'll stop overspending. We'll do better, I raised an eyebrow. You've said that before. His jaw tightened. This time is different, Daniel cut in, voice rising. Different? It's the same disaster thanks to her. He jabbed a finger at me. She ruined this family. I clenched my fists. I stopped funding your laziness. His face flushed. You think you're better than us? No, I said. I just refuse to be less anymore. Mom suddenly burst into tears. Please, sweetheart. I can't take this anymore. People are talking. We're humiliated. Just give us enough to breathe. My throat tightened. So you care about neighbors' whispers more than how you've treated me. Her sobs grew louder. You're our daughter. Family should help each other, I whispered. Family should remember birthdays too. Her crying faltered. Dad shifted uncomfortably. Daniel slammed the counter. Don't play the victim. You're selfish. You like watching us suffer, I snapped. No, I like finally breathing, he sneered. Pathetic. Without you, we're collapsing. Doesn't that make you feel guilty? I held his gaze. Not anymore. Mom reached across the table, grabbing my hand. Just one more time. Then we'll handle things ourselves. For a heartbeat, my chest wavered. Her tears looked real. My father's silence felt heavy. Even Daniel's glare dimmed, but then I glanced at him again. His phone glowed in his hand, thumb scrolling lazily through shopping apps. He whispered to himself, These shoes drop next week. My stomach turned. Nothing had changed. Nothing ever would. I pulled my hand free. No, Mom gasped. No? Dad's voice boomed. You ungrateful child? Daniel spat. I hate you. You've destroyed us. I stood, my voice shaking but strong. I've destroyed nothing. I've saved myself. That night, my phone buzzed. Aunt Marissa's name flashed on the screen. I answered quietly. Hello? Her warm voice filled my ear. Your mother called me, ranting about how cold you've become. I thought I should hear your side. I bit my lip. They begged me for money. Promised to change. But Daniel was already planning his next spree. I said no. Good, she said firmly. Tears pricked my eyes. Then why does it feel cruel? Because you were raised to believe self-protection is cruelty, she said. It's not. It's survival, I whispered. They called me ungrateful. They always will, she said. Because grateful to them means obedient. And you're not anymore. I sank onto my bed. Do you think I did the right thing? I know you did, she said. I'm proud of you. Finally, you're standing on your own feet. Her words wrapped around me like a blanket I didn't know I needed. The next morning, Daniel shoved past me in the hall. I hope you're happy, he snarled. I steadied my bag. I am, he scoffed. You'll regret this when we're gone. I looked him in the eye. Maybe, but I won't regret choosing myself. At work, Ethan noticed my swollen eyes. They tried again, didn't they? Yes. And? I said no. For a moment, he just looked at me. Then he nodded once. Good, I let out a shaky laugh. It feels like betrayal. It feels like freedom, he corrected. You'll see it soon enough. That night, as the house creaked with silence and my family avoided me like poison, I lay in bed whispering to myself, I won't break. Not this time, and for the first time I believed it. Lena shoved a paper bag into my hands. Don't peek. Just open it when we're inside, I laughed. You're so dramatic, she grinned. It's tradition. Ethan unlocked the cafe door and waved us in. Hurry before someone thinks we're robbing the place. Inside, Lena flipped the lights. A tiny cake sat on the counter, pink frosting spelling my name. My throat tightened. You did this? Who else? She said proudly. Happy birthday, my star, Ethan shrugged. She planned everything. I just carried the box. I smiled at him. Thank you, both of you. We settled at a table. Lena clapped her hands. Speech, birthday girl, I groaned. No speeches. Yes, speeches, she insisted. I looked at them, warmth filling my chest. This is the first time I feel celebrated. Really celebrated, Ethan's eyes softened. Good, that's how it should be. Lena leaned closer. So what's your wish going to be? I chuckled. If I tell you, it won't come true, she pouted. Fine, keep your secrets. The knife slid through the frosting, neat and quiet. I handed them slices first, Ethan smirked. You cut yourself last? I'm used to being last, I said without thinking. Lena frowned. Not anymore. She shoved the biggest slice toward me. Here, first bite, I laughed, taking it. Bossy. Correct, she said. Halfway through the cake, Lena nudged me. So, did they call? I shook my head. Not a word, not even Daniel. No, and I don't think they will. Her eyes searched mine. Does it hurt? I sipped my drink slowly. Strangely or no. I thought it would, but it doesn't. I feel free, Ethan nodded. That's what happens when you stop expecting them to be different, I whispered. Maybe I finally let go. Lena pulled a small box from her bag. Present time, I blinked. You didn't have to. Shut up and open it, she ordered. Inside was a silver bracelet with a tiny star charm. My eyes stung. Lena? She grinned. So you'll never forget you're the star of your own story. I hugged her tight. I don't deserve you. Wrong, she whispered. You do, Ethan cleared his throat. Mine's not as shiny. He slid a notebook across the table. I opened it. The first page read, Your future plans. Blank lines waited to be filled. I looked up. You bought me... Possibility, he smiled faintly. You'll write it yourself now. We ate until the cake was crumbs. Lena dimmed the lights and placed a single candle in the last slice. Make it count, she said softly. The flame flickered, small but steady. My chest swelled. Ethan asked quietly, What are you wishing for? I closed my eyes, leaned forward and whispered, I choose myself. Then I blew the candle out. For the first time, the darkness felt like freedom. Lena tapped the table with her pen. Did you send it? I nodded. Application submitted. Her eyes lit up. To graduate school abroad? Yes. My voice shook a little. I actually did it. She leaned back, grinning. About time. You're finally walking into your own life. I smiled weakly. It feels unreal. Unreal good, she corrected. Ethan sat down across from us, coffee in hand. What's unreal? My application, I admitted. His mouth twitched. Knew you'd do it. You sound more confident than me, I said. I am, he replied simply. Because I've seen you choose yourself already. I looked down. It still scares me. Fear means you care about it, he said. That's not weakness. That's proof it matters. Later, Lena walked me out of the cafe. You know they might never call, right? She said gently. I know, I whispered. And you're okay with that? I took a deep breath. Yes, because I don't need them to call anymore. She hugged me tight. That's my girl. That night, Ethan offered to drive me home. The car hummed quietly. You've changed, he said softly. Have I? Yes. You're not carrying their weight anymore. You're carrying your own? I hesitated. Do you ever miss yours? Your family? He stared at the road. Sometimes, but I don't miss what they did to me. I don't miss being small. His words settled into me like truth. I don't miss it either. He glanced at me, just once. Good, don't. Back in my room, I stared at the blank notebook he'd given me. On the first line, I wrote, worth more than money. My phone sat silent. No messages, no calls. For once, it didn't ache. I whispered to myself, they may never change. But I have. Weeks later, Lena burst into my room. You got in. What? She shoved the letter into my hands. Read it. My eyes blurred. Accepted. Fully accepted. I laughed, tears streaming. I can't believe it. You better believe it, she said, beaming. Ethan found me later, still clutching the letter. So? He asked. I got in. He smiled slowly. Then your new life begins. I laughed shakily. It feels like closing one door and opening another, he said. That night, I sat by the window, city lights glowing far away. My voice trembled but steady. They forgot my birthday every year. But this time, I forgot their access to my wallet. I touched the bracelet on my wrist, the notebook on my desk, the acceptance letter in my hand, and remembered my own worth.